Alright, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Most High has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. Alright, brothers and sisters, I want to go into a quick discussion of a brother that made a statement about Hulk Hogan, being an Israelite and things of this nature. And I wanted to respond to that is because Hulk Hogan was of another nation. Now, would something be wrong with it if Hulk Hogan was a so-called black man, blase, that took on the appearance of a so-called white man? Of course not. But let's look at something. This is the early life of Hulk Hogan. It says Hogan was born in Augusta, Georgia, August 11, 1953, the son of construction foreman Pietro or Peter Bolia. It says December 6, 1913, December 18, 2021. So his dad died in 2021. And it says a homemaker and dance teacher, Ruth V. Moody, right? So it says Hogan was an Italian, Panamanian, Scottish, and French, which I don't agree with that scenario, is because Hogan himself, he said that he was a proud Italian, right? And he loved his heritage. But we just using this as an educational purposes, that is saying that he was Italian, Panamanian, Scottish, and French descent, right? So most of those brothers, they sit back here and say, well, Israel was scattered throughout the four winds, which is true. You got Israelites all over the place, right? But these brothers will say, well, they feel like he's an Israelite because of the spirit of this person. That don't determine an Israelite is because you have to go by the nationality of a person and the curses of our people. And Hulk Hogan does not fit none of these curses. His people didn't go through slavery. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't looked upon as a quote unquote nigger. And see, like, you do have so-called black people that under the Moorish Empire, they conquered, I believe, Sicily. And they was dealing with a lot of those people over there in Sicily and stuff like that, the women and stuff. But the Moors did not they did not take over the whole region over there in Italy and stuff like that. So you have a lot of people over there that are 100% blooded Italians, right? And you do have certain Italians over there because of the Moorish Islamic invasion that they got quote unquote black blood in their veins. But Hulk Hogan is not from Sicily, And even if he's from Sicily, that don't mean that he's an Israelite, is because even some of the Moors that conquered over there in quote unquote Sicily, they were not Israelites either. Now you may have had some that took on Islam and things of this nature because our people we have always followed strange gods. But you had a lot of those Moors that was quote unquote so-called black people from Northeast Africa. They was not Israelites. They was of another nation, right? So I've heard these brothers sit back and talk about how Bruce Lee, Larry Bird, now they saying Hulk Hogan, all of the prominent Caucasians of history, probably dealing in sports and stuff like that, they will make these statements and say that they're Israelites without any proof, without any proof. They will just say things like this, and you will have a lot of people that's following these individuals, right? And what does the scripture say? Let's look at some scriptures real quick. Let's turn to 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter. I think it's 4:1. Now check this out. 1 Timothy 4:1. It says, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." And this is what's going on with these brothers today, talking about we gonna be picked up by spaceships and all this type of stuff. This is what these brothers is teaching that Yahushua is gonna come back on the spaceship, and that after during World War III, you're gonna have basically angels coming out the sky in UFOs. This is what these brothers be teaching. And that's why the Creator said, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that the latter times some shall depart from the faith." And this is what has happened to our people over here in the wilderness of North America. We have got bogged down by the system, and now we're starting to follow after these strange doctrines. But see, here it is. They already been following this stuff. Even when the old One West ISUPK was up and running, they was already doing this. That's why the Creator said in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, it says that some shall be resurrected in righteousness, and some shall be resurrected in shame and contempt. And this is what's going on with these brothers today. There's no spaceships coming back. And then they lie to the people and they tell them that, yeah, I see angels all the time in spaceships and stuff like that. Because they go about the technology that's going on the television, right? With a lot of these folks, the government that's running around here creating quote unquote spaceships and things of this nature. And now what are they doing? They putting it in the people's face. And then you got these individuals that's running around here teaching this doctrine, right? So let's look at another scripture. Jeremiah 27:10. Now, Jeremiah 27:10. It says, Check this out. Jeremiah 27:10. For they prophesy a lie unto you. See, talking about the Messiah is God. He's the firstborn of all creation. See, a lot of these guys are nothing but Roman Catholics, y'all. Our people is still following strange gods even to this day. This is how you know that we are the latter-day Israelites, is because we're in this condition. A lot of these brothers are out here teaching a false gospel, and they lying to the people. Let's look at 1 second. Let me see if I can speed it up. Jeremiah the 14th chapter, right? Jeremiah the 14th chapter in the 14th verse. And it says, Then the Most High said unto me, the prophets prophesied lies in my name. See, talking about Hulk Hogan is an Israelite. Larry Bird is an Israelite. Now, am I saying that according to the scriptures that you're going to have Israelites that's coming out of captivity, they're going to be as the speck of birds? That's not what I'm saying. It's because that's true. But when you go into these people's lineage, you don't see nowhere that they got so-called black blood and they pumping in their veins. You don't see that. Hulk Hogan is Panamanian. According to them, he's Italian, Panamanian, right? French, and Scottish. This is what they saying. He has no Negro blood pumping through his veins. See, these people, they come from Europe. So let me get this straight. Any so-called white man that's prominent in the entertainment world is quote unquote an Israelite. And see, this is what the Creator is saying in these times right now. It says, Then the Most High said unto me, the prophets prophesied lies in my name. I sent them not. See, a lot of us thinking that the Most High sent these people because they go in and week out and preaching and stuff like that. That don't mean that the Creator has sent you. See, and look, a lot of these guys, they're disciplined, right? But they're disciplined to falsehood. That's what they disciplined to. So just because you out there on the street corners preaching, that don't mean that you preaching a righteous doctrine. Because for you to sit up here and talk about Larry Bird and Bruce Lee is Israelites and all this type of stuff. So George Washington is an Israelite. He was prominent. See, Abraham Lincoln was an Israelite. And I've heard brothers back in the day, they used to be 14th Street Israelites. You had brothers back then trying to say that George Washington was a so-called black man. See, all of this type of stuff that's going on. That's why the Creator said the prophet prophesied lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesied unto you false visions and divination, and a thing of naught, and the deceit of their heart. See, and this is what's going on with our people today. Talking about Hulk Hogan is an Israelite foreigner because of the spirit. What spirit? What spirit does he have? That he was a very entertaining wrestler, you know, all this type of stuff. That means that he's an Israelite. That's why the Creator said, man, I haven't sent these guys. Yahweh Shai is gonna come back in the spaceship. He gonna be on top of the spaceship, like he's standing on top, like he's standing on the car or something. See, this is the foolery that we talking about. That during tribulation, we gonna get beamed up in the chariots and stuff like that. The Creator ain't sent those guys, man. Because there's no scripture that they can pull to prove that UFOs exist. They think they can, but they can't. Don't go to the book of Ezekiel. That's why the Most High said what? Then the Most High said unto me, the prophets prophesied lies in my name. I sent them not, and neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesied unto you false vision and divination and things of naught. And it says, and the deceit of their heart. See? Let's look at another scripture. let's look at the book of Psalms. 81 and 11. Psalms 81 and 11. Did I write the? I'm trying to think if I wrote it down right. Let's read it. It says, but my people will not hearken to my voice. And see, we're not listening to the Most High. We listening to a man. Whatever a man say, we gonna listen. See? And we think that the Creator is working through this person, but in actuality, the adversary is working through this person. That's why the Creator said what? Broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And a lot of these brothers, they have a broad spirit. That's why a lot of these guys, they're being removed out of the way. They thinking that the Creator is removing them to fulfill prophecy. You know, when the Israelites move out the way, then destruction is going. No, the Creator is moving these guys out the way is because why? He haven't sent them. It's because of their doctrine. Their doctrine is false. The man got on television and said that America's going to be destroyed in the year of 2000. And he's not the only one that was doing this. You had brothers out here before a lot of the people from One West came out here to Chicago around 2000 and something with the Y2K stuff. They was preaching that too. But what happened? It didn't come to pass. So this is why the Creator said what? We should not fear these people. Because why? The Creator, He haven't sent them. You can't be afraid of these guys because the Creator's not working with these people. It may seem that way because they have a lot of members and all this type of stuff, but man, the Creator is not about the numbers. Let's look at something. Isaiah 6 and 9. It says, and He said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive. It says, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy. Shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. So why is he saying make their hearts fat, right? Because the Creator is hiding the meaning to a lot of things on purpose. This is why these guys go in the Bible, they think that the spaceships is coming. We're gonna get on the chariots and all this. This is why they believe that. It's because the Creator has done what? He has gave them the spirit of delusion, man. Hulk Hogan is not an Israelite. Bruce Lee is not an Israelite. Larry Bird is not an Paul Gasol is not an Israelite. See? These are other nations. They ain't got no. Now, when we go to Blake Griffin could be a so-called, not a so-called, but he could be an Israelite because why? Because his father is from, I think his father is Jamaican or Haitian or something like that. But Blake Griffin is fair-skinned, but the point of it is that you know who his father is. Hulk Hogan's father is a European. Bruce Lee's father is Asian. I remember watching a documentary of Bruce Lee when he was acting when he was about 10 or 11 years old. His parents were Asians. They weren't no Negroes. So what is these guys talking about? That's why the Creator says, make the heart of this people fat, make their ears heavy, shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. That's the same thing that the Mashiach said. Why did he say that? It's because he was quoting this scripture. That's what he was saying to the Pharisees. Why? It's because the Pharisees was following after false gods too. Posing like they was keeping the law. But in actuality, they were breaking the law. It's because they were worshiping the same gods as the Romans. This is what's going on today with a lot of these brothers. They worshiping the same God as the Romans. This is why the Creator said make their hearts fat. It's because he's really hiding the meaning to the sayings that he's saying in the Old and the New Testament. And if you don't have the Spirit of the Most High in your psyche, you pick up this book, I don't care how many scriptures you know. Do you understand what's being said? And a lot of these brothers don't. So brothers and sisters, you have to watch a lot of these people. One more scripture and then I'm gonna be done. Matthew 24. Check this out. Matthew 24:5. It says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed one, and shall deceive many. We have seen this. The Christians do it. The Muslims do it. The Jews. And now you got Hebrew Israelites. They do the same things because a lot of our people is still following after false gods.